center ourselves to the smooth, docile tones of one Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Dr. Gorka, how are you, sir?
I'm very well, very well. Have you spoken to Senator Marsha yet?
We did indeed.
She's one of the few senators I would allow on my show. She's the real deal.
She made the point that where Kamala Harris ranked by YouGov as the most liberal senator to the left of Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, she is the most conservative senator, the exact opposite.
Yeah, but that's a lie, right? Because YouGov has changed all of that yesterday, just like Axios said they never called her the border czar. I mean, you can do that, right? If you change something, It's like the photographs of Stalin where they deleted the people who were standing next to him over time. So, facts, who needs those?
Yep. Definition of recession, I distinctly remember that one as well. How about the definition of immunity during COVID? That just in real time, to have the propaganda not only delivered to you in real time, but history changed in real definitions of words changed.
Oh, I'm the most pernicious because I'm not a medical guy, but I just I got a PhD in political science, so I realized something was screwy, and then I checked it out with my doctor. Originally a medical case was when somebody has to be sent to hospital or given treatment for something. And then magically, a case under COVID became anybody who tested positive, even if it was a false positive. It's like, words. Who cares about words? We just need the fake stats.
Yeah, it's amazing. Okay, we've a ton to do. Let's start with the thing that we haven't gotten to yet today, so we can hit on this. Netanyahu speaking to Congress yesterday, and the riots outside of Union Station, a nice little taste of what's to come. What do you make of Netanyahu speaking?
Well, it's not Netanyahu speaking. Everybody knew he was going to be great. This guy's a combat veteran. He's the real deal. But the issue is what? The 50 Democrats who boycotted it, including the president of the Senate, Kamala Harris, and then whatever we witnessed outside. Just the desecration of American history, whether it's the recreation of the Liberty Bell, the Stars and Stripes flying outside of the DC's main railway station. As a caller to my buddy Vince Colonnese's show said yesterday, I wonder if we should do an experiment. Is it okay, Mike, to burn the LGBTQ LMNOP flag? Is it okay can we go outside and burn some Palestinian flags? What would happen then?
To do it, we're going to talk about this today. We'll move on from here. But to do it outside of Union Station too, it's just the juxtaposition between this beautiful building, which a rail station, true progress and innovation coming together and building this beautiful station modeled after ancient Roman temples and to have these just vandals out front. It's just a perfect dichotomy of which way we want to go as a country.
It is, and I don't want violence to be wrought against our nation's symbols, our capitals, historic buildings, or our police officers. But I think the left needs to keep this up all the way to November the 5th, because that's when we win. Show us the real underbelly of left-wing politics today. Do it, do it, do it, because then Kamala Harris, who really is even more anti-Israel than Biden is, then Americans will understand who has been selected, not elected, who has been selected to be their nominee.
The left, I saw on MSNBC Chiron that said the conservatives or MAGA is spiraling because Kamala is the nominee right now. I love it. I think it's great. Right? Like it's so easy. Now we have to do the work, right? We have to make the case, but it's such an easy case to make, and you can be truthful and honest, and it's perfect. We played a clip of Newt Gingrich earlier. Newt Gingrich said, it's very simple. Kamala Harris is a San Francisco radical to the left of Bernie Sanders. How do you describe Kamala Harris?
Well, look, this has been really interesting for me because usually I know where I'm heading. I do my analysis, and I know what I need to say on radio 3 hours a day or on my weekly Newsmax show. But the last 3 days, because I kind of made the decision yesterday, I was torn in the middle between, good friends and people who know politics, former White House colleagues, conservative commentators who say, "Oh my gosh, don't touch her on race or her gender, or that she's a DEI hire." A lot of people, heads blew up when I said she's a DEI hire on British television, which is a fact because that's what Biden actually said when he appointed her. He said, "I have decided to emphasize diversity." Well, in that case, she is a DEI hire. And then there are the others who say, you just focus on the policies. And then others who said, "Oh no, there's a secret coup. She was part of the cover-up." So this massive disagreement amongst conservatives on how to tackle it. And then it came to me as I was listening to Vince and others: why on earth has the left spent the last 72 hours desperately? I've never seen it. Truly North Korean levels of propaganda. Deep sixing her position as the border czarina. Just the Axios. She's not the border czarina. Same woman, Steph, whatever her name is, wrote an article 3 years ago calling why she is the border czarina. And then they have an editorial note in the afternoon yesterday saying, 3 years ago when we wrote this article, we mistakenly called her the border czar. That level of just utter North Korean propaganda, deleting, facts from history, tells you just one thing, guys. What does it mean? What does it mean? This is her Achilles heel. The fact that she was and is in charge of the border, the fact that the MSN completely came together instantly to try and delete that means that's what we run on. This wasn't the Biden administration. This was the Biden-Harris regime. And the 20 million illegals are on Harris's tab. It's simple, guys. Border, 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 border. And if you want, sprinkle in a little bit of she's the DEI hire.
So on the DEI hire point, yes to what you said, but Matt Boyle found yesterday that Joe 2 months ago said to me, the values of diversity, equity, and inclusion are literally the core strengths of America. That's why I'm proud to have the most diverse administration in history that taps into the full talents of our country. Yeah. And it starts at the top with the vice president.
And then,
within three
There
sentences.
are Democrat politicians who accuse me of using DEI hire as an insult. What does that mean? That Biden insulted Harris as well? I'm confused, Mike.
That's so good. I don't want to waste a minute of our time together, so let me just play 30 seconds of this. But just so everyone knows, this is the media. It's bouncing back and forth between before Joe dropped out and after Joe dropped out. This is after.
Border czar. Vice President Harris was not a border czar.
Meantime, Vice President and border czar Kamala Harris facing some backlash.
What he said about Harris and immigration was not true. She was never appointed border czar.
And this will be her first visit to the U.S.-Mexico border region since she was appointed as the border czar.
So it's a minute and a half of bouncing
I
back
need
and
that.
forth
I need
on
that
the
cut
border
for
czar.
my show, Mike. That's very good.
That's fantastic. So we've similar to you. It's been interesting these last couple of days. We're like on day 4,
right.
And I've gotten a lot of, because people are trying to get their footing right, and that makes sense. But I've gotten a lot of, hey Slater, stop attacking her, focus on policy, and it's like yeah. Like I'm not making fun of her laugh. I'm talking about what she did when she was DA of San Francisco, what she did when she was Attorney General. Here's what she said when she was on the campaign trail. Here's how she wants to give illegal aliens free healthcare, and people are like, stop attacking her, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like these are the things she believes in that represents the party that is running her to be president. I don't know how to navigate that. What's your suggestion?
Somebody, who was it, said this? Oh, yes, Sean Spicer said it on my show, and I think he's kind of 80% right. He said, and look, it goes back to Reagan and 1983. What are people going to vote on when they vote, whether it's early, whether it's on November the 5th? They really are going to vote on quality of life, right? Who do they think is going to make things better for them in terms of quality of life, right? As such, you've got to, communicate the campaign based upon the last 3.5 years, inflation, the economy, wars, illegal immigration. You've got to tie her to the administration of which she was the number 2 person. But yes. I would say to Sean, it's a little bit more than that, because people are not always rational, right? We're not computers. And so we go in there and we also make decisions based upon sympathy, right? What is it Dan Bongino says? It's snapshots and sound bites, right? What is the impression we have of the person? And when you look at this woman's history, from what she did to a married Willie Brown, at what she has done in terms of her absolutely transactional politics, sometimes being a left-winger, sometimes being, I'm going to put more blacks in prison for smoking weed than any other, attorney general. She has no soul. She has no ideology. She's just all about power, whatever it takes. So I think the smart...
People going to have to count...
Sorry, didn't mean to play that. Go ahead.
I think the smart thing is we're going to do 2/3 to 70% on policy. You are the border czar. You're responsible for everything that happened as number 2 inside the Biden regime. And then also just kind of paint a picture of this woman who's not a nice person, is utterly transactional, and really is part of destroying California. So I think the balance is like 70-30, 80-20, quality of life, and she's not a good person.